I'm not going to talk about oil because you know what? If you want to hear about oil, turn on CNBC. If you want to hear about oil when it mattered, go back and listen to my videos from earlier this week. Go back and read my blog from last week or the week before. I've been all over Doug. I've been all over USO. I've been telling people, if anybody wants to read the blog or anybody wants to listen, oil is about to collapse, and been just pretty much every post, every video has been about this, and these morons on CNBC until today have been oil, 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 buy oil. Kramer's been saying, buy oil on dips, buy natural gas, buy this, and now today they're saying, oh, sell oil, and if you want to make money, please turn off CNBC, please. And today they're saying, oh, is the bottom in? Is the bottom in? Is the bottom in? Look, this is a beautiful rally today. I love it. But it's a bear market rally. That's the bottom line. We're still in a bear market. I don't care if this thing goes, if the Qs run up to 50. It's still a bear market rally. And these idiots on CNBC, one day, and they're sitting there, is it the bottom in? Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? Sell oil, sell oil. Yeah, sell oil, but you should have sold oil, last week when it mattered, not, today when it's down, whatever. So if you want to hear about oil, whatever. So we're just going to look at it real quick because I know some of you guys are in on the DUG trade with me. We've been in on this thing for a while, and we've been making money like crazy, like pigs. And, it's definitely probably getting to be a little bit too late if you didn't get in on this. But here's DUG. This is what we've been looking at for a month solid or more now. Descending wedge over here. Descending wedge retraces its base. We're looking for a move up to 40, 45, maybe even 50 eventually. Broke out of this descending wedge. Huge volume getting snapped up every time it pulled back to 2650. Formed up another triangle, broke out of that triangle on a head fake, shaked out a whole bunch of dead weight over here. Another move to 2650 and around thereabouts. Every time it hits there, look at this green volume, boom, moved out. Again, another triangle, and then boom, boom, boom. Here we go today. It's just been really, the trade has been working, and I have some shares on this, and I had 30 calls, July 30 calls, and I'm holding some still, but I sold most of my position, and I still have a few left. But if we take a look at for you guys who are still holding it, I want to just show you the 1 minute chart here. What I was looking at today. A couple of you, I said I saw what I thought was a head fake here earlier on this triangle. This is the 1 minute chart. Here's 11 a.m. Here's 3 p.m. I saw this what I thought was a head fake breaking out of this thing, and this 3C chart. 3C kind of sometimes falls apart in these triangles. It doesn't track what's going on so well. Like in this version, you see it's not really doing too much over here. But this one particular one looked like it was saying, I think, something's going on here. And maybe still something is going on here. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we saw a pullback. When I look at OIH, I compare OIH, I think, let me pull up a 15-minute chart here on OIH. And let me get rid of these trend lines. And let me zoom out a little bit so we get some perspective here. Here's where OIH broke down over here. It made this new high. 3C didn't follow it up there. That was the negative divergence. That was the call for the short. Boom on Doug. And here again was the flag attempt. And then here's where the flag broke down. Made a higher high. The indicator refused to go up there and make that higher high. That was the other short and a move in along on Doug. And now today we see another flag being built here, and we have what looks like a leading divergence. So it looks almost like to me that maybe Doug is going to pull back here, and maybe OIH is going to get a little relief rally. So I don't really want to make a call on this one, and it's a little bit, for you guys who are holding the July expiration, it's a tough call, and I don't see anything here that really convinces me one way or the other. Here's a 3C 10-minute chart. We're looking at these same, that was the negative divergence coming out of that flag. But here on this one, I don't see that same accumulation coming into this flag. Here a little bit, but the point is, I don't see anything so strong that I want to make a call on this. Maybe I'll see something tomorrow and I'll put something out on the website. But the way it stands right now, I'm not convinced either way on where Doug is going in the near term before Friday. In the long term, for sure, DUG is heading up, and I think easily takes out 40. So that's that for those guys. Let's take a look at the Qs real quick. QQQ, and if you were checking out my website today about 3 o'clock, I said I think the name of the post was mistake, and I said it looked like there was some distribution coming into the Qs, and it looked like some short sellers maybe were going to go ahead and try to sell this rally short. And I'll show you what I was looking at. Hopefully we'll get to see it here. Here's a 60-minute chart. You can see all the way back in June. Here's where the rally failed, and we called this one to the day. I mean, the day of the rally failure is when we called this. Everybody else was talking about, the bottom is in. Here's the move higher, and we're saying no. This is a bear market rally. It's done, and and this is where we called the move higher. So positive divergence, and no Swami or no anything like that here. I'm just looking at charts, and that's all. So here's why we're saying that positive divergence, and here's where we get this move higher off the Qs. So that's an hourly chart. So we're going to zoom in a little bit more. We're going to look at a 15-minute chart. Actually, we're going to zoom out. We're going to look at a 15-minute chart. Again, that same positive divergence right in this area. And we're going to take it down to a 10-minute chart. Now, at this 10-minute chart, we're looking at today's action, yesterday's action, today's action, and you can see the indicator is not following it price up to these new highs. So that's a little bit of a problem, which tells me I think we're seeing the short sellers trying to sell this rally short, because that's what's been happening for the last month or so. Every time the market rallies, the sellers come in, the short sellers come in, and I think the dopey guys are coming in and saying, well, this rally's just like every other rally. We're going to do the same thing we've been doing for a month and making money. But I think these guys are going to get their thumb caught in the door this time. Let's look at another version of this. Okay, here's a 30-minute, right? So we see the positive accumulation. There's where our rally started. Here's a 5-minute, and this is where we're seeing our distribution. This is where we're seeing today's action. Here's our rally today, and notice the lack of pullbacks here today. Not too many pullbacks, and that's indicative of a short covering rally. Okay, so we're not seeing the higher highs made in the indicator, which is indicative of short sellers or of distribution. So that's why I think that's what we're seeing here. If we go down to the 1-minute chart, we actually see pure full-on distribution towards the end of the day. The indicator's making lower lows. That's why I made this call at about 3 o'clock, and I said, this is what I'm seeing. Now, the market was still rallying or doing its thing here. People are still bullish on this market. Now, look at it in after hours. It's down, 0.20, it looks like, in after hours. So the call was pretty solid, I think, on that.